Lansing. Indiana State plays at Missouri State tomorrow. Greg, first of all, you've played a lot of teams that have been kind of backed into a corner like Missouri State is, and the team has had a lot of practice with that. Some games they've struggled with it, some games they've played well with it. How much do you think some of the past games you played against teams that are in that similar scenario will help tomorrow night?
I hope it helps. You talk to the guys about it, but any game you go into, you want to be the more determined team. You want to be the team that has more of a sense of urgency. Personally, I think we're playing for something very important. I know they're playing for something too, but we have to think that whatever we're trying to accomplish is more important than them, and be much more determined going into the game.
How do you build that kind of determination? Because, it's human nature to think, and it's not that Missouri State is as shorthanded as they've been. They got a couple guys back.
Yeah, but they're just without the Marcus Marshall now. They got everybody else back.
Yeah, but they're a team that's struggled, and it's kind of easy to look at records and, think it's going to be easy. How do you get these guys to kind of have a determined attitude? I guess you kind of have to mind some of the stuff he did at Loyola. It's a similar type of situation.
Yeah, we talked about Loyola. We've also talked about when we went to Drake. We've also talked about when we went to Evansville, and we weren't quite as sharp as we needed to be at the defensive end of the floor. Believe me, we understand we're not good enough to where if we think we're just going to show up and win. We know anybody in this league can beat us, but we have a bigger plan. This is the next game to get us closer to what we want to, get us closer to that third seed, get us better going into the postseason tournament. So those are the things that we're talking about.
How confident are you that the team is starting to do those things, starting to get better and finish strong going into St. Louis in a couple weeks?
I think you can see improvement. I think we still see slippage. I still think we see a team that isn't quite ready maybe to beat a Wichita or a UNI like we need to be able to do in St. Louis. We got Wichita coming up here in a week or so. But our thing right now is, you're not going to win the league outright, so we have to continue to get better so that going into St. Louis, we're as good as we can be and ready to try to win 3 games in 3 days.
Of course, you get Justin back. You did well without him, but obviously having him, you have a lot more varied options and things you could do on both ends of the floor. Obviously it's important to have him back and playing well.
Well, he had been playing well. He's one of our best players. He's been a guy that's played very well in big games and in the postseason tournament last year. So Justin's a veteran that no stage is going to be too big for him. He plays both ends of the floor for us, and I think with missing a couple days there, he got his legs back a little bit. He's a little fresher, so I'm looking for Justin to have a strong finish.
A little curveball here thrown at the end. You're bussing down to Springfield instead of flying. You don't want to do that on a midweek game. That's not a short trip, and I guess it's just another obstacle the team has to deal with.
It is, and as a coach, it's an inconvenience, and as a coach, you don't want to have your guys have a built-in excuse. They could be just what I just told them. They could be another program where they have to bust all their games, and they have a bunch of long road trips. But we're fortunate enough here at Indiana State to be able to charter to games that we need to be able to charter to. It's not ideal, obviously, when you charter back from Missouri State and you're back at 3, 4 in the morning, especially with a Saturday noon game. So we'll worry about that when it comes to us. But the bigger thing we have to do right now is get to Springfield and play as best we can.
All right, thanks, Greg.